Welcome back. Last week, the Inter-American Development Bank hosted an event here in Washington called Transforming the Future Starts in Childhood, which focused on early childhood education in Latin America. The forum was part of the IDB's effort to help reduce the education gap between low and high-income children in the region. It ended with an awards ceremony presented by former U.S. First Lady and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The ILS-IDB Awards recognize the efforts to improve the lives of the youngest citizens of Latin America and the Caribbean under difficult circumstances. Emiliana Vegas is the chief of the education division at the IDB. She leads a large team of colleagues that support education systems in the region. And she joins us now to talk about the education gap and the awards ceremony. Emiliana, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
First, explain the reason behind the awards. You really try to showcase the groups and people that really try to make a difference in the lives of these children.
Yes, at the IDB, we work with governments throughout the region, providing financing and technical assistance to help implement education reforms and programs. And we individually get to visit these centers, but collectively as a region, there's so much going on that isn't really well recognized or known. And so we wanted to recognize extraordinary people who do the work every day with young children to help them have the skills they need to succeed later in life.
Because they don't have that, and I think a lot of people perhaps take that for granted. Can you discuss the gap, especially in the 0 to 5-year-old range with these children?
Yes, in terms of their development, when we have been able to measure, the data are quite scarce, but where we have been able to measure, for example, vocabulary development on children who are 3 to 5 or 3 to 6, we find huge gaps among children in rural areas who come from more advantaged and disadvantaged families. And this just gives you an idea of what the important gaps are between these children and children in other parts of the world who have better resources. So we know today a lot more about the impact that development in the early years has in later life outcomes. We know, for example, that children who have adequate nutrition and stimulation from birth to age 6 tend to have much better school experience, learn, and then even have better outcomes as adults in the labor market, are less likely to engage in crime. The evidence is so rich. And then to know that our kids are not getting these services is really troubling for us at the IDB. And so we're working with governments to help ameliorate that situation.
So you decided to honor a lot of people, and talk us through the awards ceremony. You have 4 different categories. Who won and why?
So we have 4 different categories. The first one is the best publication for young children. And there the winner was a young woman from Colombia who wrote a very beautiful children's book on the topic of sadness and child depression, which is a topic that's hard to discuss, but she did a really nice job with a kind of big figure who was very sad. It's called El Grandulón Tristón. And for us, there were many beautiful stories, and it was a hard choice for the committee that was evaluating the submissions. But hers touched us in so many ways. The pictures were beautiful, the writing was very age appropriate. And amazingly, it's her doctoral dissertation. So it's a very young woman. It's one of her first works, so we're excited to see what's to come.
Also, Best Educator.
Best Educator went to a person from Ecuador, a female teacher who works every day with young children who have disabilities. And so she's one of the leading instructors in her country, and we wanted to recognize her in the region for her work, recognizing that not all children learn in the same way, and that all children have a potential to learn and progress.
Best Center.
Best Center went to the, I'm going to say it in Spanish and then I'll translate, Instituto para Niños y Ciegos y Sordos del Valle del Cauca, near Cali, Colombia. And this is an institute that serves children who are deaf and blind. And the work they do for these children who have these disabilities is amazing. The children end up developing vocabulary and literacy skills and numeracy and all through fun play. So it was amazing to see them, and we felt that they really deserve that recognition.
And last but not least, Best Innovation.
And I'll also read that one. It's in Portuguese. It's the Brazilian Foundation, Fundação Maria Cecília Souto Vidigal. It's a family-founded foundation, which we felt does so much in Brazil to promote evidence-based early childhood reform, or reforms to address the gaps in early childhood development in Brazil. They have partnered with several organizations, both in Brazil as well as outside, high and prestigious institutions like Harvard University, to bring the best and most cutting-edge knowledge to Brazil to help inform policymakers and practitioners on the importance and what are the right practices in early childhood development. So we felt like they also deserved recognition, because it's rare to see a private sector led institution do so much for public policy in the region.
Emiliana Vegas, thank you so much for joining us here on America's Now.
Thank you so much, Elaine, for having me.
We now turn from education to health. Walk into your local health food store and it's almost guaranteed you'll see this product somewhere on the shelves. It's called acai, and for more than a decade, this little berry that grows in the Brazilian Amazon has been gaining popularity around the world. Acai is often marketed as a weight loss wonder and an anti-aging miracle worker. But to the locals who harvest and produce it, its earthy pulp is just another meal. We look forward to seeing you here next week for another edition of America's Now. Thanks for watching.